Alrighty. Hello there. This is the walkthrough video for Wednesday. It is indeed the 27th of August and try one week four. Please find your yellow bell work for today. We are going to do some multiple choice practice called letter and why. We used this a couple times throughout the class last year and it worked really well. So I think you'll see more of it this year, hopefully. So, at which level of protein structure are peptide bonds most important and why? So, you are going to write a letter and then write a why. You do not need to recopy the whole sentence. This is a process piece for us. If you don't know, you are going to need to find out. I suggest taking a look through your review book or going back and watching the proteins video or looking at the protein POGL if you haven't already chopped it up into parts for your study folder. So today we're doing one more work day, but before we do that, I need to tell you a little bit about the AP exam in May, because this is kind of our last day of Unit 1 content, with the exception of one lab, which I'll tell you about in a moment. You're still getting used to the rhythm of a more self-directed style of learning. And so I know from working with adolescents that that means we need protected time. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the AP exam in May. You're going to take a proteins quiz on AP Classroom. It has your first official FRQ, which you're going to type in this time. However, be advised that you're going to handwrite this year for the FRQs, although handwriting is clearly going to go away. But you get to handwrite the FRQs, as you'll do during my class exam time. Then we're going to do some work time. So we're nearly done with Unit 1. Because Floyd and I have to share things like microscope slides and like some of the reagents we'll use for the carbohydrates lab, this part of the scheduling can be a little dicey. So tomorrow we're going to do an intro microscope lab, and then we're going to do an experience where you will learn about carbohydrates and do some firsthand experience of collecting data and learning the last part of the math routines we use throughout the year, which is descriptive statistics, thinking about standard deviation, standard error of the mean. I can't say that word, ERROR. I don't know why it doesn't sound right here in South Central Indiana, but many people tell me it does not. It's the upstate New York coming out. So we're going to talk about error bars and what they mean. But this, like, remember, we have like a week of downtime where we start the previous unit before we take the test, just to make sure that people can like get that extra week of Panther Plus, catch up on their late work, that kind of stuff. So we're nearly done with Unit 1, and that means it's time for me to tell you about the Unit 1 exam and how it mirrors the actual exam that you will take in May. So this, I'm not giving you 90 minutes of multiple choice. This is what's going to happen in May, and you are going to be, if you do the things I ask you to do, really uniquely well prepared. Cannot emphasize this enough. So 60 questions, 1 hour and 30 minutes. It's 50% of your score. They all have some information, diagrams, or data, and this will not surprise you, the things it's going to do. During the exam in May, on my 46th birthday, you are going to then get a pause. You'll go eat a granola bar and go to the bathroom, or whatever your granola bar is, fruit snacks. And then you are going to take a free response, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So in my exams, we mimic the time of the FRQs. You're going to get 2 long questions and 4 short questions for a total of, boy, I counted it. I think it's 37 total points, 10 and 10, and then 16 or 17. I don't know. I wrote it down. And I'm going to give you a little faster than that, but still like a comparable number of individual FRQ prompts. Inside each question are a bunch of little prompts, as you'll see today with the sample. So this is the College Board's list of things for answering the free response questions. They're linked if you want to see them again, but I'm just telling you the same things that are on that webpage. So the first order of business, before you get your free response questions, before you start, you should read through all the questions. Now, you're not going to do this on the practice ones that are on AP Classroom, but when you sit down to get a test, this is what you should do. You should figure out which ones you feel most prepared to answer, and you can proceed to solve the questions that mean that you are kind of thinking about like getting stuck later in your testing period. Now, there are going to be some of you, because of test panic or because of unfamiliarity with the content, where you're going to sit down and be like, I don't know how to answer any of these. Look, I am a really good test taker, and I still feel that moment often of, so this only works if you're somebody who is really feeling confident about the stuff or the science practice, or if you're somebody who can calm yourself down enough. Many people's strategy is just to start at the beginning and start and answer the pieces that they can answer. As you'll see, that's also a viable option. But I think for most people, especially by the time we get to May, this is going to be the better strategy. You have to monitor your time. That's why I suggest investing in a watch that does not connect to the internet. You want to ensure that you don't spend too much time on one question so that you don't have enough questions. So much time. It should be so much time. I don't know. I copied this text directly. It's in Roboto, to at least answer all of them. So keep your time close to you. If a question is asking for a calculation, you must show all the steps you took to reach your calculation to get full credit. If you mess up, you're going to be writing in pen by the time May rolls around. You do not need to do that now. You can just write an X through it and move on. Like, please do not erase on the FRQs. You will not have time. Again, today, the practice one, you are typing. Many free response questions are divided into parts like A, B, C, or D, with each part calling for a different response. And credit for each part is awarded independently, so you should try to do every part. For example, you might receive no credit for your answer to part A, but because they're kind of discrete, you could still get full credit on B, C, or D. If the answer to a later part of a question depends on the answer to an earlier part, you may still be able to receive full credit even if you didn't express yourself fully in that earlier part. You need to organize your answers as clearly and neatly as possible. Today, that's going to be done for you. There's going to be a text box, I think, for each ABC, but it's really helpful. These are still read by humans, and it's really helpful to help make sure that we are able to read your work. You should include the proper units for each number where appropriate. If you keep track of units, oh, hang on. Okay, hang on. I'll be right back. Okay, I don't remember where it was. Oh yeah, units. You need units, so please do that. Sorry, the announcements came on. You should not use the scattershot or laundry list approach. You should like write as many things you can think of in the hope that they will be among you. So it's worth like thinking of with some focus about what you're doing. And then you're not graphing today, but please make sure to clearly and correctly label all graphs and diagrams. We will be graphing together. I know you haven't done that yet. That's what the Banana Lab is for. So if you want help reviewing for our first exam beyond in-class practice and making your study folder, there should be an and. These are for you. They're in Canvas as well as here. So today you're going to do the new practice quiz on AP Classroom. It's about proteins, and you're going to type the free response question right in there. And then a work day. Please check Canvas for what you still need to do. A reminder, the field experiences are due Sunday. And then one more like metacognitive moment before we move on. How'd you spend your time? How far along are you? What else do you need to accomplish? We go back to regular programming tomorrow. Remember, we're like balancing independent work with group work. So we'll be doing some group work again tomorrow. I hope you're well out there. We'll see you soon. Bye.